Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. And just developing that pathway, making it easy for, like you said, someone coming out of high school or college to know what are the steps I need to take and how can I progress my career, will make things very, very easy. So yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that as well.
So in your particular story, you've had that tennis career, you played in college, you went to work for, a great brand like Wilson after we're doing some work with Gatorade. Then you went off to another corporate job, but you're coming back to tennis because that's your passion.
Yep.
And we need people like you that have a passion for tennis that want to stay in the game because a lot of people think about, okay, I'm going to go off and be a commercial banker, or I'm going to be in real estate, or I'm going to be in insurance. But at the end of the day, they don't have a passion for the sport and they would rather fuel that passion. They want to give back to the sport that gave them so much. So we've got to make sure we keep people like you in our game and in the sphere and under the tent so that you can be a part of this family and part of the sport and part of the fabric of what we're trying to do for society because we know tennis is socially distanced. We know it's one of the safest sports for people to play. Let's face it, during COVID, we've had so many people that have gone to Target and Walmart to buy pre-strung rackets because they wanted to take their kids out the public courts because they couldn't go to soccer camps or they couldn't go to sleepaway camps. They couldn't go do other activities, but they started playing tennis because they knew tennis was a safe sport. And boy, we've got this tremendous pent up demand for tennis. Let's make sure we capture those people and keep them in so they don't leave.
Yeah.
We want kids to play the game. We want kids to get started. I'm so delighted that Walmart and Target had so much success selling those pre-strung rackets and that they're out at the parks and playing. So we've got to get our professionals to go out there and capture them, make sure they stay in and don't leave and go off and do something else. So we've got a sport that is really terrific to for families and for kids to fight this pandemic and have healthful activities. And so hopefully we can make sure that those folks that are engaged now are going to stay engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's what I worked on a lot while I was at Wilson was the pre-strung racket. So it's good to hear that that is growing. But to your point, it's one thing to get the racket in their hand, but how do you get them to play in 2021 and 2022 and for the rest of their career? I couldn't agree there. Absolutely. The very last question I'll ask you, um, as we look at, and you talked a little bit about this, but as we look at moving the game forward, what are some of those things that you all are looking to do, or we can all do to help the game to continue to progress and build off of, a strong year from a participation perspective.
Thanks for that, Chris. So we have a president, Faisal Hassan, who has really made diversity and inclusion a key initiative for his presidency, and it's going to be a key initiative for us as an association going forward. In that, we've got to make tennis look like America. We've got to make tennis players look like America, which means we've got to reach out to underserved communities, and we've got to do it with people that are familiar and comfortable in those environments. So we need coaches of color. We need coaches of all minorities to go and embrace the game. And we also need female coaches. I mean, this is a great game for female coaches. They can balance their work and their family lives and kids and everything else. But we got to get more females feeling comfortable coming into the sport. And so our initiative, along with the USTA and the Tennis Industry United Task Force, it's all about trying to elevate the standards of our teaching professionals, but it's all about trying to embrace more people and bring more people under the tent into our family. And so we're going to be really focused on for the next couple of years, 3 to 5 years, about reaching out to other communities and making sure they feel comfortable being a part of our association and be a part of our sport. So those are two key things: more female coaches, more coaches of color, so that they can reach out to their communities and grow the game in those communities.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. I would agree, and I really like that. That resonates well with me. Making tennis look more like America.
Right.
Um, and I think that's gonna one of the many initiatives, like you mentioned today, that will really help the game move forward. So that's really good to hear.
So we need your help, Chris. Help us out.
I'm here to help. I'm here to help.
Our
I've
advocates.
always found. I think back to my college coach. They always said, you're special and you belong in tennis. And just like you said, I just didn't understand the pathway of how to stay there, right? And just being able to have that clarity now, it's something that will help a guy like me, not only stay in the sport I love, but just wake up energized and keep a smile on my face. And that's what it is. I think of a quote that just says, "Do more of what makes you happy." And if tennis makes me happy, everything else will work itself out. I truly believe that.
Your enthusiasm is infectious, and you're in front of students, kids, they're going to get it. They're going to appreciate your enthusiasm, and they're going to enjoy the game much more because you're enjoying what you're doing with them. It's like any teacher in a school. If you're really excited about what you're doing, you're going to have a heck of an influence on those kids. What I don't care what subject you're teaching. It could be history, it could be math, it could be physics, it could be the most boring academic criteria. But for tennis, and they have the smile on your face, and they get kids excited about the game and get them enjoyed, so they want to come back, because they're going to go home to their parents and say, "Gosh, I really had a great experience with my tennis coach Chris," or whoever it may be. They're going to want to come back, and they're going to want to stay in the game, and that is what we need as a sport to make sure that we're going to be healthy going forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this was great. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to talk today and share all the great things the USPTA is doing. As you know, I'm a big advocate of everything you guys are doing and believe in it, especially the initiatives and how you're looking to move the game forward. So it's not only good for me to see, but it's refreshing, and then I'm truly excited for you guys, and not only for what 2021 may have, but what the future may hold. I think we're going in the right direction. And like I said, it's exciting to see. So thanks for spending the time with me today.
It's my pleasure. And if anybody has any questions, any of your audience, as they hear this and they want to reach out to me, it's john.embree@uspta.org. Happy to chat with anybody if anybody wants to call me and ask me any questions. But thanks for being such a prophet for us, and for espousing our message. That's great. And I look forward to working more closely with you, Chris, in the future. Thanks very much. Have a great holiday. Okay.
You too. Thanks, John.
All the best.
All right.